Good morning. My name is Miss Meherine, and for the very first time, we are presenting you our first webinar. So, ICSA, International Institute of Computer Science and Administration. In the full form itself, we would get that ICSA is more IT related, meaning most of our courses are mostly with the technology that's been coming up. So what is ICSA? Now, if I would search on the internet and I would try to find what is ICSA, I would find exactly as what I have pasted. As I go to our site and as I go through links on what is ICSA, what we find is ICSA, International Institute of Computer Science and Administration, is the pioneer of IT and management education here in Kuwait. It is dedicated to provide best quality of education with outclass teaching expertise. And its heritage can be traced back to 2001. This institute is determined to continue striving hard for arranging and ensuring opportunities to the students for educational and personal development. So that's what the internet talks about ICSA. But what is ICSA when it comes to our students? To the ones that we have trained. So all you have to know about ICSA is that 1. ICSA was founded on February 2001. 2. ICSA is the first institute that's been formed first for the Filipinos, and as times have moved on, as we have developed, we have also accommodated diverse people. 3. It is the first institute to offer laptop repairing course here in Kuwait. 4. It is the first online institute here in Kuwait. 5. It is the first institute to offer BSBA from the Philippines, because ICSA does not just offer skill-based courses. Other than that, we also offer bachelor's degree courses. And the very last and the most important about ICSA is that ICSA is your key to success. It has been the key to a lot of people to find a better stability when it comes to employment. That is what ICSA is to people. So I will study and get ready, and perhaps my chance will come. Because when you go for, let's say, you want to apply for a better job, or you want a better opportunity when it comes to jobs. Although when you go there and they ask you, do you know how to do this, or can you do this? Although yes, you can do it, but maybe in a certain limit. So why don't you get trained? If you're trained, you're ready. If you're ready and you're trained, no one is going to decline you. So what are the courses we offer here in ICSA? We have office management. Now, in office management, in the word itself, management, office management. So it starts with the very basics of secretarial procedures, Microsoft Outlook, because we know how making up emails are very important when it comes to working in an office. Business correspondence, and even job interview workshops. Again, just for an individual to be ready, to be able to face how it is to work in an office. So that's what office management is about. And then we have graphics designing. Now, when we talk about graphics designing, with the word itself designing, it's more about creating, more about creativity. So in graphics designing, we get to learn Adobe Photoshop, CorelDRAW, Adobe Illustrator, logos designing, and Adobe InDesign. So from the very basics of adjusting the brightness, exposure of a picture, you can then now create your own poster, own brochure. Isn't that very amazing to just listen to? So why not make it your own? And then we have web designing. So what do we learn in web designing? What is web designing all about? Web designing is more about designing your own website. from the very codes on how your site must look. Why is it in demand? Because social media is it plays a very huge role now in today's business, in today's world. Why? Because that is how you get attention from people. That is how you present your company, and that is why it is important. That is why someone who knows how to design a website is considered a very important person. So if we would go for web designing, then we would go further for web development. What is web development? So web development is more about, once you're done designing your own website, now we will go further on developing it. More into going to links, more advanced, rather than just having just the layout, you can now work on it. And then we have computer programming. Because why don't we make our works more computerized, meaning more easy? So it's more about making softwares. Now, doesn't that sound cool? And then we have airline ticketing. From the very procedure of hotel and car reservation, advanced airline reservation, world travel geography, travel agency operation and management with advanced Amadeus and Galileo. As I said from the very beginning, it's very easy to know how a work is done. It's very easy to be trained, but to be professionally trained so that when you go out there and you search for this job, you do not have to think twice about it. And then we have AutoCAD 2D and 3D. AutoCAD 2D and 3D, now we're moving more into the architectural side. Architectural side, yet it still is related to our IT. Why? Because AutoCAD 2D, 3D is an Autodesk application. Meaning, from the very planning of a building, whether it be interior or exterior, the very planning on even on how the door must open. Does it go inwards or does it go outwards? That's what AutoCAD 2D and 3D is about. And then we move on for 3D Max, 3D Studio Max. Now, 3D Studio Max is more about modeling. Now, if you have your plan, you'll have to put it into picture. You'll have to show what's in your mind. So that's what 3D Studio Max is all about. And then we have the PC and networking technologies. What is PC and networking technologies? So just a while ago, if I talked about the hardware, so what can PC and networking technologies be about? So when we talk about networking, it's more about the connection of computers. So it's more about the sharing of files. That's what PC and networking is all about. So what is our webinar about again? So it is about the course Computer Secretarial. So what is Computer Secretarial? Now, Computer Secretarial is a course in which a student will be able to work as an office assistant or as an administrative assistant who has a very good foundation when it comes to the computer. Because when you say that you're a secretary, an office secretary, or an admin assistant, you must have a very strong command when it comes to Microsoft Office. Of course, because Microsoft Office is the most basic when it comes to working in an office. So what do we offer here in ICSA when it comes to Computer Secretarial? We have Microsoft Digital Literacy. Comes first. Now, before you learn on how to move when it comes to the computer, how to open a file, how to save a file, you'll have to know on what is a computer first. How did it started? Why did it started? So that is what digital literacy is all about. And then we will continue to Windows 10. Windows 10 is our latest operating system. So it is more on about how you will operate the computer, how you would open an image, or how you would save or how you would make a new folder, more into how your computer works. And then we have the printing and scanning, because when you work in an office, it is very important that you know how to print and scan, because these are one of the most fundamental, let's say, job description of someone who works in an office. And then we have the internet concepts. Under internet concepts, we learn how the internet is used when it comes to working in an office. How to make your email, how do you compose an email. And then we start with the Microsoft Office, like Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, in the title itself, Word, it's more about words, more about typing down words that would form documents, that would form proposals. That's what Microsoft Word can do. And then we have Microsoft Excel. What are its importance is when it comes to reports, when it comes to inventories, schedules. And then we have Microsoft PowerPoint, which is about presentations. As I am presenting to you, I am using Microsoft PowerPoint because I am presenting to you. So this is what Microsoft PowerPoint helps me with. Now, iPad Masterclass or the Office 365 is more about everything that you have learned will now then be transformed using the iPad. Now you know how to use Word, Excel, and PowerPoint in your computer. We will then now not limit ourselves to just desktop or laptop computers. We will now then move on to smartphones, iPads. Because rather than me bringing a laptop computer wherever I go just for my reports, I would just be having a laptop with me and everything would be encoded or would be recorded. And then comes the very important question, why ICSA? Why should you trust ICSA? Now this is not for me to talk on how we have reached the moon, the stars, and back. Because that isn't going to compel or going to, let's say, convince you. Now why ICSA? ICSA because students. Because students who have already graduated, who have already walked out of ICSA, not just the person that he came in, he goes out as a professionally trained person. Someone that nobody would neglect to. Because this person is trained. This person has undergone a training in which he or she is now finally ready to perform assigned tasks. So have your own certificate, a certificate built with your patience, determination, and hard work. Let ICSA lead you the way. Because here in ICSA, we do not promise because we do. That is why you should trust ICSA. And that is why you must come in. You must come in now. You must come in the very time that you could. Trust us. Because we never promise. We don't promise, we do. The very same day as you come in, as you walk out, you would think that you're already trained. Because that is how we value our students. Thank you, and I hope you also watch our next webinars.